Okay, today's pretty cool. We get to make a sculpture. We'll be creating a Calder-inspired mobile. And so the mobile will hang and hopefully respond to the element of air and wind. You will need wire, cardstock or thick mixed media paper works. Make sure it's painted or something's applied to either side. You'll need a sense of balance because you'll need to find the midpoint of each one of these arms. I did 4 arms, and there's these connectors as well. That's pretty much the arms, the cardstock, and the little circles are what you will be creating and adding them all up, putting them all together to create a balanced hanging mobile. Hey, you can go bigger than this. Go big or go home. I had wire that was somewhat malleable, so you can see it's still kind of flexed. A more rigid wire, you can go larger, but this is a good start. And you can plan the bigger one next time. I love the articulation of it and how it brings in the element of time. Finally, we get to use some time in our art making. All right, let's get started. Alexander Calder, he's an artist, an American sculptor known for both his innovative mobiles and his stabiles, which stood up. Mobiles hang, stabiles stand on the ground. This is a well-known mobile of his. From any medium that contains movement perceivable by the viewer. I don't know why that goes so fast. So movement. There's movement. We've brought in time. Remember the elements of art. The good old line, shape, color, value, form, texture. We've been working through it all this semester. Guess what? After space, time. Remember this Giacomo Balla painting? This referenced time. It's one of the early pieces that brought time. Time being a medium that film shifted our perception of things. Here's the supplies: wire cutters, needle nose pliers, thick cardstock, wire, a sense of balance. If you only have wire cutters, you can use something like the end of a paintbrush to twist your wire to the needed circular form. Cut 4 pieces, 4 arms, all of rather even size to start. After cutting all 4, find the edge of one side and curlicue it around itself. 2 turns in 2 different spots with pressure on the wire achieves a more even circle. The other side of the arm will be connected to the cardstock. So first create these long arms, a curve on one side, and then our goal will be to even them out so they have a nice curve shape. I like the circular part to be on the down slope. And then you can choose a large piece of wire that you'll twist around and create tiny little circles, and these will be your connectors. Your eye, the eyelet, let's see, jewelry making, clasp? I'm not sure the term for it. So you can wrap it around the end of a paintbrush. You could do that first turn in the same manner. This is very malleable wire, so it turns very easily. If it's larger, thicker wire, you may need to approach it a little more muscularly. So one long slinky, you could say, and then you can cut this so it's just a perfect circle or an imperfect circle. Circular. Let's have them be circular, and that we can close the clasp. Make a bunch. Be careful, be mindful of your sweet fingers too. So the paper. Hopefully you just have some old work that was not your fave, and it's on thick enough paper, and you can cut it into organic shape. Why an organic shape? Well, that's what Calder did. He was inspired by nature, so he took his forms from leaves, tree elements. Just make it fun and playful. I decided to try out I have these wax crayons that I got, and so I decided to try out those and then some dry erase marker. I decided to do a tartan pattern because I had been studying my family history and Scottish history of the MacDonald family. So it was on my mind. It was real. First I cut a general rectangle shape that they were all similarly sized. I wanted some to have variation larger. And then I started cutting it into more of a eucalyptus sort of leaf shape. I like how the reverse is more of a watercolor versus the pattern of the tartan on the other. And I just cut more than I really needed so I can decide their placement later, not concern myself too much in the planning. I figure I can edit once I get to putting it on the wire. Oh, it'd be really helpful to have a little push pin too. If you notice, I have one here. The push pin can help you pre-drill the holes onto your paper pieces so that you don't have to use the actual wire to do so. But you could use another piece of wire if you really needed to. And you create 2 holes on the paper, and then a little turn. Pre-turn on the wire is helpful for you to grab and secure with an attachment that is still pleasing to the eye. And then re-straighten out your wire as need be. Mine, since it's so malleable, requires a lot of that as I go along. And then 1, 2, 3. So I just kind of picked my first 2 faves. I knew I wanted these shapes to be included. And then after that, I thought about including some variation. So I selected each piece so it has some variation. So after I do the final one, I'll be able to move on to getting my sense of balance and seeing where the center point is on the wire. You have to hold it up and hang it and find where is the middle. Where does it sit and balance from one side to the other? And you can see here I'm trying to test it out. The second one, and where you have the midpoint, you will create a loop. So I kind of jumped forward there a little bit, but you find the midpoint by hand, you let it balance, and then you create a loop. So the first one is easy because it only has to balance against itself. But I'm going to show you and jump forward to the last one. You can get a really hands-on, close-up view as you move forward step by step, how they can have a balance point relying upon all of them put together, not just one at a time. Okay, so here's the other end of it. I'll make this one bigger. Let's see if we can find a balance point. I have a nail handy, so I'll use that this time. 1, 2 holes. Aim outside. The second one. Close the clasp. Either close it with your hand or the tool. I like to finish with the tool at least. Make sure all the parts are moving, so it has the most mobility from air. Reshape it, right, over. So the midpoint. So that's not it, right? Too far. I want this to at least hang down a bit. So as we go up, it can get a bit heavier with the paper, huh? I'd say right here is nice. So hold it, wrap it around. Okay, back to the step by step. From the above view, add the connectors into the loop that you created at the balance point. Connect the end loop to that middle balance point, and then work your way up. Now all future balance points will best be determined after connecting the looped side to the middle point of the one below it. So you connect the curved side of the arm to the midpoint curve of the one below it, and after that you measure it out and find the balance point. And then as you find the balance point, create a loop, add another connector so that you can move up to the next arm. And really then it's rinse and repeat. If you can get the pattern down, you could make an enormous mobile. Just continual problem solving and shifting the shape of your wire is how you'll be managing the end part of this project, and just repeating the pattern of making. And then guess what? You have a lovely mobile, and you've learned so much about how to manipulate wire and how to add other elements to it. Bravo, bravo. And it works. Bravo, bravo. All right, see you back soon.